Hi, welcome back! Alright, so if you've been around here for a little while, you know that I collect Lego mini dolls. I love these things so much. And I have a collection of Disney, these aren't all princesses. These are Disney characters that are mostly princesses, but that are my favorite versions of those particular characters. And I try to display them because I love them and I want to be able to see them all the time, and also because I want to be able to find them. But then I have the rest of them who are the same characters but different versions, slightly different outfits, all tumbled into a box, which is just not good enough. And now so I'd been toying with an idea for a while, and this set came out this year, and Andrew wrote on when I built this set, crazy idea, what if the next vid you build the exact same display castle, but this time it's for Disney princess mini dolls? Well, this is an excellent idea. It's not going to be exactly the same castle, but what we can do is take each of these modules, because we just need, I need something versatile, so I can use one of these for each princess, but I can change it over to a mini doll version and make it themed specifically for that mini doll, and then I can change them around, put them in different places, and stack them, and I think this is going to be a perfect idea, and I'm very, very excited to be able to display them in something that's creative as well, rather than just popping them up in a frame. So, welcome to our display nook today, which is going to be for Belle, and I'm going to try and do one of these for every princess that I own, my favorite version. But how do I choose which one is my favorite version? I don't like the face prints on some of these, and I'll swap them over at the end, but what do I do? It doesn't really matter because I can change them out. But maybe we'll start off with my blue dress version of Belle, and that way we can build her a library, like the castle version of the library, and she can be displayed at the front of it. So what we need to do is make sure that every single one of our little nooks is the same dimensions, so the same width and height. Doesn't have to be the same colors, but it has to be this. So we're going to build everything on an 8x6 plate, and that is our footprint. And then we need to make sure that they're all the same height as well. But anyway, let's start down here. So we have got, we're going to keep to the same kind of style as the rest of the castle that we've previously built before, but we can change it up as we go along. So we'll put these 10 pillars on here, and then I actually want to have, I don't know whether it's going to work if it's not on the ground floor, but I actually want a little bit of an outcrop out the front. That's probably not the right word. So little steps up, but this is so that I can display the mini doll in front of their tiny scene, and they'll be easier to get on and off because I won't have to reach all the way in. But anyway, it's just an idea. I might have to change it up as we go along, but this looks really cute because it's a nice step up. So we're going to make a bookcase, and I want to use this stained glass rose piece as the focal point of the bookcase because obviously it's important for Belle's story. So we're going to get our bookcase put together, and using purple as an accent color to this reddish brown, putting some scroll worky kind of side bits going up the side, and then to put books actually on, we're going to put these inward facing stud things, and then we're going to stack a whole heap of plates and random bits and pieces so that they make nice colorful books on the bookshelf. We're not going to have just boring tomes. It's going to be cool and fun. So let's get these in here and a nice, actually if we put these ones with the forward facing studs on, we can put the half round ones on and make a different texture as well. And then this one to finish this off, and that fits on nicely. And then just maybe one on the other side. And there's a little bit of space there now, like for a missing book. So I could put one of the real books in there maybe, or I could just leave this as space so that some air, we don't really need air, but so some light comes through from behind, because otherwise it's going to be really dark in this nook. I might have to light it too. Oh, so many ideas, but one thing at a time. We'll see what I can do. Okay, next shelf. This one we're going to put the rose, our stained glass rose panel in here, and then put our little gold bit in front, some more purple bits for the books to rest on top of, and then maybe just a few little books stacked on either side. We'll just mix the colors up here, put some blue ones over on this side, and then on the other one, just a couple too. Nice, okay. And then that makes the rose absolutely pull focus, which is exactly what I want. And then the next, actually I need to make sure I don't make this too tall, though each of these little rooms are quite tall, so we'll have to see how far up I can go. Okay, so on this shelf, just to mix it up a bit, I'm gonna do some, I'm gonna put some different stuff on, and I didn't have a square here, so I'm just using a quarter quarter round tile. It's fine. No one's going to be able to tell once we put stuff on top. So I want a nice big buff book to go on the top. That was so many bees. And I don't know that we should really call books buff, but you know what? I don't care. We're going to put this one up here on its side, and then there's space for a little teacup up here for Chip. And then I think we might have to, go to an arch kind of shape now. I think that that's nice and full. So a little bit of light happening in the middle of our arch with our see-through studs, and then if I put that on and if I put these jumper studs on, I don't know if that's an excellent idea because that means every time I touch it it'll kind of fall off, but I might need to secure it to the base plate a little bit better, but that'll do for now. Okay, height-wise I think we're okay. So now we can put some more things in front. Definitely gonna need a reading chair. Anybody who has seen my my Disney Princess dioramas from a few years ago, absolutely the same idea. I am 100% inspired by that because I still think it's the perfect idea for Belle. So we're going to pop this little chair in here and she can read her book in it. Look at that. That's when she's not being displayed out the front. She can sit down. I mean, standing for all that time. Who'd be a princess? So much standing. So she deserves to have a lovely, comfy sitting spot. We're going to put it on an angle here. I'm pretty sure that's going to be stable at the back. We'll find out. And then on this side, I want a whole like trellis of climbing roses up the wall. I suppose it's not a trellis then, is it? So we'll put them on our forward-facing studs in... Yeah, okay, that's cool, but I need to actually pop one of these out because I want to put a little side table on here because if we've got Chip, of course we need Mrs. Potts because I don't know quite how she's going to have tea. Also, the teacups are all the way up the top, but that's just for storage. It'll be fine. Okay, let's get our climbing roses up on this side, and I've actually used pink because there's a lot of pink in the build, so I want it to accent it, and also just to not detract from the red rose that is specifically important to the story, the enchanted rose. So we'll get these going. I did have these configured correctly, but I don't remember how I was supposed to go. Maybe up there and around the arch. This one can go down here, and there's a little exposed stud down the bottom. We'll get another little pink flower on there too. Let's pretend they're roses. Perfect. Okay, now we can put the arches on over the top, and then we just need to put we're using the same design as the other castle so that we can pop on and off different levels nice and easily. And there we go. The only thing I haven't got, I could put stuff up here on this little top shelf, this yellow, I don't know. I'm not going to put more stuff in because I want light to be able to get in as well, otherwise it's going to be very dark inside. Oh, but this will do for now. I really, really like this idea. I'm very excited to do one of these for each of the different princesses. However, I got a little bit loud there, sorry. I also think maybe I want to do one for Yellow Ball Gown Belle as well. This could become really, really complicated. Oh, like we might end up with lots and lots of rooms because I want to do a ballroom for Belle, for yellow dress Belle. So let's go. Let's do another room for Belle. And I'm going to use this beautiful big printed piece as the focus stained glass window at the back. Oh, okay, so this means we're not getting any light coming in from the back, but that's okay. We will figure something else out. And then maybe some more of these pillars on either side and gold embellishments to just kind of break up the pillariness. This one here, I want to put some forward-facing studs because I want to attach a big drape, like a big draperies of curtain-y thing in the blue like they had in the ballroom, or maybe in the big, anyway, part of the castle, so that this is going to just... yeah, just make it soften it a bit, I suppose. So we've got our big curtain up here and we're going to have to make a curved ballroom down on the floor. So let's just get this up here, and then this is going to cover over all those exposed studs underneath. Okay, cool. And then some more gold pillars. You can't have too many gold pillars in a ballroom. Some opalescent satin lights in between. And then over here, we need some candelabras, but I don't want to make them go too high, like too tall. So I've kind of modified like not a big floor style candelabra, if that makes sense, just a medium-sized one, so that we can see it from out the front. Otherwise the candles will be up way too high. So if I pop it here, it's really close to the drapes, I know, but it's make-believe and we're definitely not going to catch anything on fire here in the ballroom. So we're going to have a reddish brown round ball area thing on the front, and then I don't know that we really need much more. This is pretty much it. We need some more pillars. So let's get the sides all built out a little bit, and then this side as well. Pop our gold pillars up. Yeah, I'll put them here so that we've got room to put stuff in front of them. I just love those opalescent studs. They're just like that little bit fancy. It works so perfectly for a Disney princess castle ballroom. Okay, I think we could just pop Belle in here now and be pretty much done. However, I also think we need the rose, right? The enchanted rose. So I have left a display area for it on the side so we can pop it in its dome and display it here. I'm getting so excited by this. And then we've got another little stud on the other side where we can actually have Lumiere. I just love being able to put some of the secondary characters in these builds as well. It's so cute. Okay, Lumiere, you can hang out over here. And then I think we're going to need, we need a chandelier. So we do actually have, how am I going to suspend this? Actually, if I do this and I put one of these big long white tile pieces, which is going to be like the roofing, we can attach it into that and it'll spin nicely. So now let's get our gold and sparkly yellow chandelier happening with all of our beautiful gems. Stick them everywhere that we possibly can. Get them on all sides. It's only a dainty chandelier. I really would love to put a huge one in, but this is not the space for that sort of thing. So I need to stay restrained sometimes. So this can then hang in the middle. That should work okay. And then we can put these. I think I've got enough support for everything. We'll find out if everything comes crashing down when I try and put another room on top. That's future Ellie's problem. And I'll put a couple of little study kind of bits up here to attach things to. Nice! Oh, look at this. All right, so I came in here intending to build one display for my favorite Belle and did 2 different versions. So overachieving, which means that this might end up being a really, really cumbersome castle. So once again, we will deal with that as it gets bigger. But for now, I mean, just imagine how this can go together. So I'll just kind of stack it the way our example one is. We'll pop this one out because the actual clips are on the second floor rooms, so I'm gonna have to take that into, to attach them together, I'll have to take that into account when we're building them too. But look at this is the idea, which is actually really versatile because each of these rooms is a self-contained module, so if I have to go back and fix anything up when I add future rooms, it's gonna be easy enough to do. And at the moment, it's pretty stable with what we've just added, so we'll see how that goes for future. Oh my gosh, I'm excited by this. I want to do one for I'm going to try and do one per week. No promises, but I will try. And first up, I need to swap out Belle's face because I just can't even with the new style of Disney princess faces. Okay, which Disney princess gets a display nook next? We're going to do another custom build for the next Disney princess display nook. So I was actually inspired by this set, which was released this year, but these are little stackable modules for buildable Disney princesses. And I'm changing them up so that I can use them to display them for my favorite Disney princess mini dolls. And I already did Belle, started out making her one, ended up doing 2 for 2 different versions of Belle because of course I did, but the plan is actually to do one nook each week for a different Disney princess, and then I'll have a stackable, changeable display for my favorite Disney princess mini dolls. It's going to be chaos, so wish me luck. So today we're doing Moana because I needed to do something tropical this week because there are so many princesses who live in castles and I'm just not about that today. So Moana, which mini doll do I choose as my current favorite? I actually don't know because there are so many fantastically intricately printed versions of Moana as mini dolls. We have been spoiled, so spoiled, but you know what? We deserve it, us mini doll lovers. So I'm actually going to go with this one in the middle for now, but I can change it out whenever I want, you know, in an hour, in 10 minutes, tomorrow, yesterday. We're also going to put the Heart of Tafiti in there because it's so small. I like putting in little Easter eggs. So for our base, we need an 8x6 plate for every single one of these, so they're going to be the same stackable size. And I'm putting a little half round plate out the front as well for each of them to put the princess out the front because obviously it's a display. And then in the back area, we're going to have a whole heap of things, obviously like a whole scene or an environment that's appropriate for that particular story. So some volcanic-y mountain jungle by the sea. And this might actually be familiar because I'm actually, if you have been here for a very, very long time, I have actually made some display dioramas in the past, and this is going to be the same idea, but update it and fit it into a stackable version because my previous ones just kind of sat side by side, and I loved the fact that they were really, really open, but I ran out of space for displaying them. So if I can stack them up, then I can do so many more of them, and this might actually end up being a display that I can use for so many things. So we're going to use the same idea as I did previously, but just kind of updated. So we're going to have our volcanic-y, mountainy, waterfall-y thing coming up here. It has to fit in to, like, within the guide, within the borders, otherwise it's not going to fit next to all the rest of the things. But I can go outside of the borders on the front, if that makes any sense. Kind of. There might have to be some changing as I do up different nooks and decide who's going to go next to each other. But for now, I need to keep the back all contained within the 8x6 plate, and then the front can go out a bit. Now, in the front bit here, in our watery, oceany bit, we've got the water pulling back so that we've got a spot to reveal the heart of Tafiti going to be down here in the water, just sitting there on the sand. I mean, that makes it really easy to find. And putting in our water all the way around. And when I planned this all out, it's a kind when I do these organic-y kind of builds, they are so hard to, like, I plan them out, but then to try and recreate them, I mean, furniture is easy. Trying to make the movement of water and things and then remember how I did it, not so easy. So I'm gonna just have to kind of change stuff up round and about and back and forth, and just I tend to put stuff in and then backfill, so if there's a space. So anyway, so we definitely need a lovely big palm tree. So this big chunker here is going to be so cool, except I'm wondering if it's actually going to fit in. Let's find out. So we're going to stack a couple of palm leaves on the top, and this is going to fill the top of our space with some nice big lush green palm leaves. And I actually tried to investigate being able to suspend them from the top rather than taking up a whole heap of space down the bottom with a tree trunk, but it was really, really hard. So I just gave up and decided, you know what, we're just putting a big chunk of tree in and I'll work with it. So we are going to build our waterfall up, down, off this volcanic-y rock thing. Gonna try and do as many angles and make the water look as flowy as possible with the parts that I have. So we've got this little angled rock, and then because this is kind of back in the island a bit, we've got some nice greenery growing out of the rocks, heading down to the water. This is going to be very filled up in the back of our display, but that's okay because we're going to put the mini doll out the front, right? So it doesn't matter, but I do also have to make sure that I leave a lot of space for light to be able to come through, otherwise it's going to be really, really dark. So I don't want to close it in too. So, so many things I'm trying to keep in mind. So building our mountain up, and that is the height that I think we're going to be going to. These pillars, and then we have an arch over the top. I should probably calculate that before the next build, but anyway, I just keep kind of eyeballing it and hoping for the best. And we'll get our waterfall going down here, and we've left there's a bit of space underneath there, so we can fill that up with a bit of green, and yeah, that's pretty cool. It's lovely, really, really lush green growing out where the water always is. And this rock here can kind of float at the back. No one can see, no one knows what's happening at the back, so that's fine. This is actually only designed to be viewed from the front. Gonna put Hey in because, of course, and he's nice and easy and he's colourful. He's really easy to implement into here. And this bit at the front is going to be where our front support is. I really wish that I didn't have to have front supports. I hate closing it in the front, but I need to, so that so that the whole thing's supported, basically. Supports for a reason. So we've got our water flowing down, coming out of the rock, and then over on this side, maybe we could put Pua in somewhere too. Maybe he could hang out up here on the mountain. He's quite big for this very small build though. I think we're going to move Hey and put a nice big lush ferny kind of tropical plant. And because I want to put some more colour and maybe a little bit of flower on the front there and angle that up. There, that's really nice. I love these. I love how many different foliage options we have now comparatively to when I did a build like this before. So this can fill this space, but also leave lots of light coming in from behind. And I do need to fit this pillar in, which is also, we're going to pretend this is a tree trunk in this particular iteration, right? Fits in so much better with the Moana idea and theme. We can change up the colors. It just all has to be the same height. So, Hey, I reckon maybe instead of having him up so high, we could put a drum in here. Oh, except I would love to use that printed piece, but then he can't stand on it and not fall off. So let's use one with a jumper stud. No one's going to know what's happening in the back here anyway. So there we go. And he's adding some beautiful color and movement. Little bit of character to our build. So this bit over here is where we need to have our support for the front. So rather than having a one solid pillar, we're going to build it up to the right height with some plants and the waterfall. And then on the other side, I'm a bit lost as to what to do on this other side. I'd love to just leave it open, but I can't. Structural integrity is going to be important as we add on to this. So instead, I'm going to just kind of make it a sandy color and then put a plant in front of it, stick a plant in front of it, and I think I'm going to need another one of these little studs with a hole in it so that I can actually put it down here. So a gorgeous plant right near the water. I'm sure that sort of plant will absolutely happily grow right there on the water's edge next to the salt. Yeah, absolutely. And then we need to get it to the same height as the rest of these little modules, as the rest of the nooks. So we're going to make this arch over the back and on the front, because I just want it to look a little bit more open. I'm going to use a different configuration, kind of just the color scheme to fit better with Moana. And then on the top, we're putting these along so that we can attach some more things on the top nice and easily. I think this is going to work really quite well. I mean, I'm not gonna know. I am absolutely just eyeballing this at the moment because, things have fallen off already. It's not terribly structural. It's fine. It was just the palm tree. Everyone settle down. So I haven't actually thought about how I'm going to connect these like side by side. I've actually left space so that I can put hooks and fastenery things in later. And if not, I'm going to just have to rejigger it and change stuff. So this is absolutely a work in project. What? A work in project. It is a working project and a work in progress, but we can currently stack them and they look so cool stacked. I'm kind of very, very excited about how good that looks. Oh my gosh. And so these sort of clips and those sort of fasteners are what I'm going to have to think about eventually, depending upon where I'm going to be putting each separate nook. But at the moment, that's tomorrow's problem. But look how cool it looks, just like as an idea, as we add some more on with the original version, which is all going to be gone soon because I'm taking parts from it all the time, but it's gonna be so cool. Okay, I am super, super excited. So we are taking this set. This set was actually the inspiration for this. I'm giggling because there's not much of this set left because I've been busy stealing bits of it to do my own. But basically, I love these. I love the whole idea of this. These actual buildable Disney princesses are really cute, but they're not my thing. I love mini dolls, so I decided to take this idea and turn it into displays for the mini dolls, my favorite mini dolls. So I've already done Belle. I actually ended up doing 2 for Belle because, I can't even explain myself. I just did. And I've also done 1 for Moana. So heaps more to go. I'm going to try very, very hard to do 1 every single week. And eventually they'll all be stackable, movable, or roundable, so I'll be able to kind of decide where I want to position them, and then later on I need to figure out how I'm going to actually connect them, but that's tomorrow, Ellie's problem. So hold on, let me get this is the original kind of version. This is my bare bones version, bare bones skeleton. So we need it to be a certain size on the bottom, a certain height, and each one has got a pillar, some sort of arch to hold it for structural integrity, and then on the top, mostly smooth with some exposed studs so we can stack them and unstack them and restack them however we dang well please at the end. So that's basically my pattern. And today we're doing Aurora because I don't think I've ever done anything custom for Aurora, ever. And we do have some really nice mini dolls of Sleeping Beauty, of Aurora, but do you know we don't actually have an in the woods hiding outfit? So we do for Belle. I think we need a before and an after princess for each of these princesses in mini doll form. Anyway, so the other thing that I have a problem with is Disney turned her dress from blue, which is what we see all the way through the actual movie, to pink because blue ended up being Cinderella's color. So all of the mini dolls we have are in pink outfits. So I'm going to make her little nook as blue as I can. We'll see what we can do there because I can't have a blue dress for her, but my favorite version of Aurora is actually not one that exists as a whole. So I like this outfit because it's got some of the little roses on it, Briar Rose idea, and this face print with the closed eyes came from an Elsa micro doll well, and I just think Aurora should be allowed to have the best sleep of her life, so have her eyes shut. And I love the light yellow version of this new hair mold too. So this is my current favorite version of Sleeping Beauty. Now, before Disney even got to Sleeping Beauty and turned it into their own story, it was a story in its own right, and many artists have taken the imagery for this and made their own versions. And I just think the sleeping version on the bed in a tower surrounded by roses is where we're gonna go, because it's iconic, right? So we need an 8x6 plate to build everything on. I've made it dark grey to emulate the stonework of the tower, and we're going to be also like a pool of blue coming out, because like I said, I'm going to try and use blue as much as I can here, but also it's nighttime, so this is going to have darker shades of blue so that it also looks, so it looks dark through the colors that I'm choosing to use. Okay, and this little bit that goes out the front, I'm using that for the display for all of them, so I am extending past that base plate area. So on the front, we can display Aurora if I want to, but my whole point is she's going to be in the bed. So let's build the bed, which is obviously the most dominant part of this whole little look. So we've got this stickered bedspread, which she's going to be lying on that, so we're not going to be seeing it, but we're going to know it's there. And the bed itself's going to be a pretty simple, just rectangle, but we're going to need to make sure that she can stay on the bed and not fly off when when I move this around. So we've got a little footholdery thing, put the bedspread on here, and it's dominantly blue as well, so another reason I've chosen it. Got a pillow on, and then we're going to put some really heavy brocade drapery, like the big curtains around, so I need to leave space for them because they kind of go over the bed or enclose the bed, but I also want to make those dribbly bits down the side. What do you call those? Like a valance? So these are going to make I'm just going to go with dribbly bits. The ordered dribbly bits. This is what happens when words fail you. These things, like a fringe. It's not even a fringe. Scalloping? Yeah, I'm just going to stick with the valance because that was the best. And we'll put like the best of a bad bunch. And then I'm holding together with a bit of gold on the top because gold just goes nicely as an accent color for all of these princesses, or the majority of them. And then the back we're not going to see very much at all, so it's not going to matter what's happening on the back of this bed. We'll just make sure the top looks the same as the front. And let's get started on, actually before I worry about the curtains, let's just situate, it's not cooperating. Okay, let's put this on here too. We're going to need that as a little bit of a bolster, and then if we're going to pop it on here, it's like on a little tiny bit of a raised dais, and then we've got these bits to hold it on, and you're going to see this from the side, so I'm just kind of filling out underneath so it's not floating too much in the air on this side. And the other side should be covered with drapes and curtains, I think. So let's get her in the bed. She looks super comfortable. Let no prince come and wake her up. So she's finally having a really good sleep. Right, and while she's sleeping, we'll put our drapes together. So I have used for the stickers on this to add detailing. They're actually some of my old nail wraps, so repurposing them really useful. Cut them out to shape and stuck them down. So otherwise I'm using dark purple because it's nice and moody and it goes nicely with all the colors, but putting the sticker on it just adds some really nice detailing to the whole thing. It looks kind of brocadey, kind of. And then on this side we're going to have some at the front kind of going over the bed a little bit, draping over, so using these angled bits, and then this bit's the little tie back, and then another one of these uprighty inverted triangles, and I think that's pretty good. It was gonna have to make it higher still, but we'll worry about that in a minute. So I actually moved this sticker off a curved piece and popped it on our flat grey panel, and we're going to need to build that up just a wee bit, and then that's peeking out from behind the curtain, so that's this beautiful big window with the climbing roses around it, which is perfect for her. And we do actually have a fairy godmother. We have Merida. We never got the others as little tiny characters, but I don't think I can fit her in here. However, we can get all three of the fairy godmothers into this build because they come in like printed on a teeny tiny tile, so we can pop them on some green vine, and they can also hang out here and look over her and keep the pesky princes away and just let her sleep, for crying out loud. So we can pop these up. Alright, so I'm gonna need to build across here, I think, and then we've got a little ledge. So this is the idea of where that plate's gonna go across. And I mean, it literally is a plate going across. And then we need the arch over the top. But for that, I don't know that I'm going to arch it so much. Let's get all of this to the same height. No, that one's going to need to go up just one more. I couldn't find just a 2x2 dark blue tile, so just using what I have to fill in the spaces, and then we might use some really pretty yummy translucent pink round bits, and that's going to add some extra light in up the top, and some purple bricks with some forward facing studs so that we can add some climbing rose bushes, what? Like vines, climbing rose vines, that's better. Yeah, and we get this over here. Pop these across here, and then we've still got no supports on one side, but that's okay. We're going to rectify that with some really cool little column pieces. So using gold, even though I couldn't find any grey column pieces, I wonder if they even exist. They probably do. They would have been cool, but gold also works really nicely. And on here, we're getting the climbing rose vines. And I've used a mix of colours in this. I'm not 100% convinced. I know that red is the colour that we should be sticking with, but I really liked some of the pink, but maybe there's too many colours in there, but I can always go in and change it up later. Getting them to curl all the way around, and then we can build these roses out with kind of like a ball, a little ball here. I mean, it's kind of ballish. It's, well, what? I don't know. It looks nothing like a ball, but you know what I mean. So building out the dimensions with one of those little pronged bits, and then on the front, another one of those, and I think it won't interfere with the other builds when we put them up side by side, but I'll snug it in next to them later and have a little look. Pop this one on here. And I don't think all those colors are too much. Maybe they are. I don't know. Let's just get another column in the front. And we're making it just a little bit more regal with that cute little scroll work piece, getting up to the right height. And because she's just here in the dark, let's pop a candle in just for light. It'll be fine. It's perfectly safe. I mean, everyone else is asleep. Who's going to brush past this candle? And then, of course, we need a spindle. So we need the spinning wheel to go with the spindle. And I don't actually have a lot of room out the front here to put this in. And I experimented with making the smallest profile spinning wheel that I possibly could, and there's no other wheel that looks really as good as this big brown one, so it's bigger than I want it to be. But you know what? We're just gonna make it work and hope it doesn't obscure everything. So using this piece here to attach it, I'm gonna need to face it this way and then hold it on with one of these little studs with a hole through it, and then we can clip it into here, and then if I loosen that little stud, it will spin nice and freely. Look at that! Now, just some little feet kind of things on it, and then I need to figure out how and where we're going to attach it on the front, because it's big and I don't want it to like be right in front of the whole bed, and it's kind of in front of her face. Let's just use this bit here to support it down the bottom. It's kind of hanging off the back, but no one's going to look there. Shh, don't tell anybody. This is my build. I can do what I want with it as long as it's mostly secure. I really like the build. I just feel like it's just a little bit far in. So maybe if I fiddle around a bit and make it a little bit higher, maybe it's going to obscure it slightly less. That actually does work a little bit better. I would have liked to tile the front, but I don't have the pieces that I need or the space. So just adding a few stonework quarter pie pieces there to be able to just pull the stones forwards. But I'm just fussing about so much. This is why it takes me so long to do a custom build, because I will move things literally from one stud over, back and forth, and raise them and lower them for hours trying to figure out which I prefer. So yeah, I'm trying to see whether this will help this bit that's floating off the edge, but it doesn't work. Maybe I could do that. Then it's hanging too far off and it's going to interfere with the other little nooks. I think I might just leave it. Oh, I'm going to move it into here. I think that's pretty good. I think I'm going to leave it there for now. Ignore it, and maybe something better will, I'll have an idea late at night, 3 a.m. when I'm supposed to be sleeping. So let's put the bits on the top that are going to help us support anything we stack on top of it. And there we go. And I actually had a plan to have Belle and Aurora stacked like this so that the flowers kind of they weave into each other, and that worked out really nicely. That looks so pretty. Oh my gosh. All right. So Aurora is surrounded by her fellow princesses, so no one is going to wake her up from her well-deserved nap, and I'm very, very jealous. So which princess am I going to add a display nook to next week? I'm still looking, just thinking I need to be adding connectors soon, but you know what? Not yet. Okay, today we're gonna do Ariel, a display nook for Ariel. I'm really excited. I have done a little, quite a few builds, like custom builds for Ariel, but today I actually have to choose which is my favorite version of Ariel in Lego mini doll form, and I have dug through all of my little dusty containers to try and find as many of them as I can. And we had so many with the green tail. I want an original cartoon version of Ariel. That is my favorite. I mean, that's the Ariel I grew up with. So I kind of feel like the new face here, which is one in the middle, is my favorite face so far. I would like the purple top because it's the right color, but I think I want the green tail because it's the color it was in the original movie. So there's so much messing about gone with the colors for Ariel and her outfits. So this is what I think I want her. Oh, and for hair, this hair actually came on the minifigure, on the collectible minifigure series, and it absolutely looks like cartoon Ariel hair. I mean, this for me, oh, hold on, maybe not. I think I might want the tail that has slightly fewer embellishments on it, just so it just is a little bit more simple. I would have liked it to have scales. But we've also got the new version, like the live action version of Ariel. I really enjoyed this movie, but I do not think that the mini doll was done very well at all. So, and also we've got a couple of versions of her in her ball gown, like in various ball gowns, but this was just a pink dress that she popped on when she basically came to the castle. I want this dress. If I had this dress, I could do another little nook of her in the boat, and that would be perfect. I don't know why we don't have that dress yet, which is lots of ball gowns. And we've also got this version. We got the wedding dress too. And I don't know what I'd do with this dress. Like, what scene would I build around her? It's just kind of her generic princess outfit. Anyway, so we are building an underwater scene. I want to try and emulate the idea of the poster, like this iconic image of Ariel, the Little Mermaid. So let's see how we go. So first up, we need an 8x6 plate to build everything on. And for each of these, I've built out with a little, what do you call this? A half circle-y thing so that I have more room out the front to be able to actually display the princesses. So I want to make the rock, right? So the rock kind of comes in and then out again and then it is on an angle. So this is going to be the base for the rock, but if I build the rock, I won't be able to go back. So at the moment, let's go to the back and let's build some underwatery kind of structure. Yeah, so let's get some big wall of water up the back. Not going to see some of this stuff down low because it's going to be a big rock in front of it. So I want this to be kind of the top splashy bit. You're not going to see froth because it's right underwater, but you know what? It's just all about the imagery at the moment. Okay. And up here is going to be a nice spot for a fishy. Nice. And then I want to create some cascading kind of wave looking things on the back, just so that it's not one big block of water, even though that is kind of what it is, but creating shape just looks so much more interesting. I'm going to see whether I can be a bit creative here. So let's use these curvedy bits of backfilling all the little spaces that they leave. I could be doing, no, this will do. This looks really cool. And then that's nice and smoothie. Look at that. That looks so cool. What a pretty shape. Okay, the fish might be a little bit high up. It might get lost when we put the arch on, so I might have to move it down, but I can do that. That's nice and easy. Okay, this is going to fit on okay because we have another plate that's going to go. Yeah, it'll be fine. All right, so in the trunk, she needs her treasure chest so she can keep all of her important stuff, like some gold bullion. Like, gold is at an all-time high. She's going to need that. She's going to want to hold on to that. It's just going to increase in value. She's also got her contract with Ursula in the back here. Nice and safe. Dingle hopper, check. Let's pop that in here. And then maybe just some other random things. Maybe a little pearl. I could put a little hermit crab, like hermit crab could curl in here. I do have one somewhere. I don't know where I put it. I'll put it in later when I find it. So we're going to put this on a raised rock bit in the back. Otherwise, it's going to be entirely impossible to see because we're putting a raised rock in the front for her to sit on. So this is now, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll find out how I'm going to be sitting it in a minute. We can move stuff around. And then we need some seaweed, nice and dark green because it's like deep down under the sea. So it's pretty dark down here. Okay, and that gives us some nice like height at the back, and at the front, the focal point is going to be that rock that she's going to be sitting on and displayed on. So I need to make it so that it goes out, like has a base and then comes in a little skinny and then up again like for a flattish kind of top, which is also on an angle in the poster, but I don't think I can do that because I don't think I'm clever enough. So we've got a little anemone to put Flounder in, and then I just remembered that Flounder's not actually a clownfish, so that would be Nemo. So maybe this is just a special anemone that's special for Flounder that does not poison him, because anemones are poisonous to all fish except for clownfish, right? But anyway, this is not science, this is a magical fantasy land. So Flounder will be fine, and this is Flounder's special fantasy anemone. Anyway, so we've got our flat top on the rock, and we need to flatten it off even more because Ariel's going to be sitting on there for an extended period of time, and we don't want her butt to get like little stud shapes on it, so we'll make it nice and smooth. And to actually plug her onto the top, we can use this bracket piece so she can sit on there securely without flying off, and this way I can also angle it. So if I put it onto a stud, I can then attach it to the plate and kind of turn it however I want it to be, and then she should be able to look at that! That's exactly what I want. Okay, and then let's fill out some of these other little spaces that are just sort of still exposed studs. Nice! And then we'll pop that back on, and she looks so comfy there! Check it out. I am really chuffed with this display. This is going so well. Okay, down around the bottom, a whole heap of coral and anemones and seaweeds and lots of little colourful, sea creature-y kind of things. So we've got this, which is totally not a cupcake in this capacity. It's now a perfectly good coral, and we've got a starfish and another little anemone. Anemone. There we go. I did it. I got there in the end. And things grow out of and secure themselves to the rocks. Things, seaweeds, anemones, living creatures down underneath the ocean so they don't get swept away. So we've got that. And now because this is like down low, we're going to have dark purple transparency bits going up into the lighter blue. I think that looks really good for our for the structure. Yes, structure is 100% a word. For the structure for the front. Okay, so let's get this just straight because we need to be able to see that contract in the back. It's important. So we need to get it to the same height as all the rest of the little nooks so that it can fit beautifully in. So we put a plate along across here, and then there we go. I knew we had a little shell over there. Nice. So that's now in the treasure chest. And now up here I can put the arch. I'm pretty sure that fits, does it? I don't know. Yep, I'm just going to push it down really hard. Okay, and a cool little pretty shell, shiny shell. And these have to get up. You know what? I want a little bit more space at the front, so I'm not going to put an arch. I'm going to put these angled, inverted angle brackety things so that I've got a little bit more space at the front. Okay, and then on the top, we just need to smooth it over and put the bits that we're going to be connecting the next level onto. And then we've got this done. Her little nook looks so good. There's a bit of space off here to the side though, so I reckon I can put another cool little corally kind of thing over here. So, okay, so we're going to have some darky, seaweedy, green kind of stuff down here. And this cool little light yellow parsnip is now a fun underwater plant creature thing. I think it just looks so cool. The colors are so perfect. I love that we're getting the carrot shape, the Lego carrot, in so many different colors. Okay, so we'll pop Ariel on here. Oh my goodness, I think this is my favorite one so far. Okay, I love it. Oh, okay, so where are we going to put her with all of the other ones? I mean, obviously we've got Moana, which is also ocean-y, and they fit quite nicely together. We could pop Ariel underneath Moana eventually too, maybe so she could be under the water and Moana can be up above. But this is what we have got so far. They look so good. This is going to be such a great display. I'm having so much fun putting each of these together. Yes, we're going to do another custom build today. Another Lego Disney Princess display nook for my display collection. I feel like we've been doing this for years already. No, that's not true. Are there a bazillion Disney princesses? I feel like maybe. So yeah, anyway, so I've still got lots to choose from, and I only actually have 5 nooks so far, but oops, and I'm breaking one already. But the whole point of these is that they're supposed to be able to be stacked and mixed and matched around, and each little nook is themed for each of the different princesses. My favorite Lego mini doll version of the princesses, and today we're gonna add another one on top of here. So we got Ariel under the sea, we got Moana on the sea. What is flowing into the sea? This is actually inspired by one of your comments, so I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But if you're brand new to this series, I've actually taken the idea from one of this year's Disney princess sets with these buildable princesses. Each of them have their own compartment, but they were really boring, so I decided I wanted to make them for my beloved mini dolls and theme them up. And yeah, so this is the skeleton, like basically the pattern of what every single one of these, the height and the width, every single one of these has to be. And today we're going to add Pocahontas to the collection. Oh my gosh, we waited so long to get Pocahontas as a mini doll, and she is only, like, she is one singular version of her. She came in a set with 13 princesses, so really a very rare mini doll to have. And I love her. The designers did a wonderful job. The wait was worth it. But she didn't come with any of her animals. So I can bring in this raccoon as Miko. I think that looks enough like Miko to be one of her pets to hang out here with her. And I want to give her a Colours of the Wind style leaves swirling around her idea. And this is going to be like the focal point of her display nook. I mean, obviously Pocahontas is the focal point, but anyway, the leaves. Let's get them in the air suspended, so we can make them, I want them to appear as though they're in motion, not just on the ground and on the trees and stuff. So we can use this, what do you call it, like a curved rod thing, pop some little clips on them, and God, I couldn't decide on the colours, so I decided just to go with all the colours because it's just the Colours of the Wind. I can swap them out later if it just ends up being too much colour, but I really do like colour, so let's find out and see whether it works. So lots of these little claw clips, and to make a couple of leaves go on the same clip, we can just add some extra plate things. Look at that, that looks really cool! And I can angle them on this curved rod as well. And if I pop these ones maybe coming up out of the ground, and then the other one can be going up and over. So I need to figure out how to actually suspend them and attach them. But I got the idea for the actual scene from your comments, which was to put Pocahontas' diorama as a mountain or waterfall on top of Moana, on top of Ariel. So it's like a waterfall going down the mountain to the San Moana and ends up in the sea with Ariel. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the big waterfall in a teeny tiny space down into a lake. So to do that, I'm actually making the base a little bit of a different configuration to all the others that I've had, but it's still going to be the same amount of studs, wide and long, depth and width, whatever it is. So this is going to be the blue of the lake, and we need, oh yeah, so these were really cool. These actually came out of a Monkey Kid set of the big waterfall, cascading waterfall. So these are going to be perfect for Pocahontas' big cascading waterfall. So repurposing them to make an enormous waterfall in a teeny tiny space. So it's all about making the idea of something. So we can pop these all along the back and at different heights, and that way it looks, hopefully it looks like this is a huge waterfall, right? So I need something to actually suspend these on so they're not just floating in the air. Get this one attached here at the back. So we've got our wall of water, and you can just kind of have the idea that they're coming down off the mountain, off the rocks. And this is actually the entire height, I think. Yeah, we'll figure that out in a minute. So let's go down onto the ground level. So we want the water cascading down off the rocks, ending up down in the lake, because this little out bit on the front is the lake, and a few mossy bits of rocks, a little bit of color, a little bit of different texture and stuff, just to mix it all up and make it interesting. Over here, I want this rock to, I want the water to come a little bit further out and the rock to be a bit further back. More mossy bits, a little bit. I love that green, like that moldy green color. It goes really nicely with all this like nature stuff. And over here, I want a pine tree. I did think about having the autumn colors, but I just wanted this one to be dark. Also, I don't have these sort of leaves in autumn colors. So this is what we're getting. And I need to put these on so that they're going to be flat on one side, because this is basically going to be an upright support for one side of the structure. It'll make sense in a moment, but I need to not make the leaves go all the way around. They're just going to have to go 3/4 of the way around. So, but I still want to make it look fleshed out as much as possible and not just look like these big bare tree trunks. But at the moment we're looking at the exposed side. Yeah, and some lighter ones on the top, like where the light hits the tree. Does that make sense? Also, I ran out of the dark colored leaves, so it works out perfectly. And up here near the top, I think this is going to be secure enough. I will find out. I want a place where I can attach some more floating leaves once we've got it all in. So that can be the top of our spray of leaves. That looks really cool. So I think, yeah, that is the height we need it to be at. I don't know how this is going to be structurally, whether it's going to be very solid, but I don't know. We're just going to leave it as it is at the moment. And over on this side, some more rocks, and then in the middle is like a little rocky island kind of land areas, and this is where Pocahontas can be displayed. So we've got our rock, and then we've got grass on the top, a few different colors and textures so that it just looks a bit more interesting than a flat and like a single color. And then we could put a mushroom over here as well, because I think mushrooms will go really well. How cute would that be? All right, so this goes over there, and maybe Miko could hang out on that mushroom, because I don't know that I've left a spot for Miko to be, but that's okay. So perfect spot for Pocahontas here right at the front. And then we're going to try and get this Colors of the Wind leaves to go over here. So if I use this piece, that should, we can then poke that into this brick that's got the little plus sign on it. And that is... yeah, I feel like I've done something wrong here. So these are supposed to go in under... I know what I've done wrong. So I need to change this around, like the orientation of that was wrong. There we go. That's better. Now that's a bit more snug. And then these can go in the bottom, and that... oh, there we go. So they go all the way up here, and then we need another few leaves up here on the top of the tree, so it's all just floating all the way around. So, I love all these colors. Do they work? Would you tell me in the comments whether you think they work? I would have actually liked some brownish leaves or some more autumny colors, but I really like these. Okay, now we're going to have to use this bit over here as some structural support. So I'm using some see-through tubes to go all the way up to the top. And I think that's all we can fit in. So we just need some smooth bits on the top, and then, whoa, I feel like this is pretty flimsy, but you know what? I love it so much. I'm just gonna leave it and be really careful when I move it around. Come up, Miko over here. We have got, yeah, that's the right height. Okay, so let's try putting this on the top. So from the mountain to the sea, well, to the ocean, to the sea, to under the sea, we've got our 3 watery habitats here. Look at that. I don't know whether they're going to end up being in these places when I've got all of the Disney Princess display nooks done, but at the moment they look amazing together. Holy moly. This is so fun. I'm glad we have a gazillion princesses and Disney heroines. I mean, they don't just have to be the franchise princesses to make displays for. Right, we're going to be doing this for years. It's going to be awesome fun. Okay, so my Disney Princess display nooks are coming along very, very nicely. We're going to add another one today. I'm going to have to start thinking too about maybe a base to put them onto as well. But anyway, that's another one of future Ellie's problems. But I mean, it's not going to be a problem. It's going to be a really, really fun design challenge. But in the meantime, we still have a gazillion princesses that need their little stackable, customizable nook. Okay, all right, so we have done Belle, Aurora, 2 for Belle, Aurora, Pocahontas, Moana, and Ariel, and the actual premise for these came like it was inspired by this set, which has buildable princesses in it, but each of them had their own little nook, I suppose, and it's basically this. So this is our framework for each of them, sticking to the same basic size and height so that they all stack interchangeably, but I've also put a little half circle out the front, and that's where the princesses can be displayed, and that way I always know where to find them and they don't get lost in my rubble. Okay, so today we are building a display nook. Yes, for Cinderella. Okay, so we're gonna have... okay, so we need to choose... well, I need to choose which one my favorite Cinderella is. And I actually did a comparison video to check out all the so many slight variations that we've had for Cinderella mini dolls over the years. We have got far too many with these don't like the face prints on any of the Cinderellas we have had in mini doll form, so I'm actually going to change that up. But her blue dress, so many variations. So I'm going to compile one out of my favorite pieces. So I love this ball gown, and I'm trying to go for her traditional look. So with the gloves and sparkles. I know her gloves are supposed to be light blue, but there's, too much light blue is too much light blue. Everything's supposed to be light blue. We've got two choices of face prints. They're both not really great. So I have actually chosen this face print, which is, I think, an Elsa one. The lipstick needs to be like a lighter pink. But apart from that, I think it's really good. And using this orange hairpiece, because I can't find my light yellow one of the same style. So when I do, I will swap that over. And we're also going to get Gus Gus in here to keep her company. We don't have her servant outfit at all in mini doll form, which is such a shame, because then we can do another scene for that. But anyway, so we need some classic Cinderella stuff in here. So her glass slipper, which she can leave as she's fleeing from the ball. And we're also going to need the clock, right? The clock striking almost 12. So I've got some really cool ones from different Cinderella builds, and I just need to decide which one I want to put in. These are so big, but I think that's perfect because it's really such a huge part of the story, the clock striking 12. So I really want a huge clock, even though it's going to be a teeny tiny space. Let's see if we can make it work. I want to do this scene. Kind of like the idea of this scene, her fleeing from the ball, going down the stairs, leaving the shoe behind. So I'm going to use this as my plate. So we've got 8x6 for the plate size, and then a little rounded bit out the front. I'm making them all kind of concretey colored, even though I think they're kind of white in the movie, but this way it gives it a little bit more, I think this is a bit more authentic looking, because white just looks really glary. So let's make the stairs going up to like a nice big arched entry or exit. It's an exit for Cinderella, and I want to move these just back one stud, because she's not going to be standing on the stairs. The stairs are basically just there for show. So now that I've got the shape of the staircase, I can just backfill all that space underneath. No one's really going to see this. We just need it there for structural integrity. So we can attach our stairs onto there. Nice. So that's our main focal feature, right? But we also need the carpet. And in the movie, I'm pretty sure like this is a desaturated kind of color. It's kind of a magenta pink. I'm sure it's supposed to be red, but red in Lego looks terrible. So I'm going to be, it just looks really stark. We need like a more rich colored red, and we don't have the right shade yet. So I'm going to use this magenta pink for the carpet going down. Got a little jumper stud there standing nice and proud on the stairs waiting to pop the glass slipper on, but we need to get all the way down to the bottom, and then basically we just need to get Cinderella. She can be running away. The clock is striking midnight and she's left a glass slipper behind on the stairs, and we can even have her angled so that she looks like she's looking back over her shoulder. Okay, all right, so which clock to choose? Let's see. So they're really big, right? So let's put in a structure for them. So nice big pillars. This is still a castle. We're going to have so many castles for the princesses, but they're all going to be slightly different. So this one I'm going to use dark blue looks nice, I think, because light blue is generally her color, but this arch is going to be in shadow. So, I mean, the idea of it being in shadow, so making it dark is my idea of how that would work. And then this is going to hold the clock. That's so big. I think it looks really great. All right, and then maybe I'm just going to try and create some shapes. So these pieces have come from one of the Cinderella carriages, I think, in the past with their printing on them. So if we put them up here, they can kind of look like big royal curtains, but they've got the Cinderella-y swirls on them. So that looks really nice, rather than it being just a big stark stone entry. Cool. And if I can put those light colored blue 2x1 tiles up there, because I have like just two of them left. Slightly darker shade of blue up the top. No one's gonna be able to see up here anyway. And I think we're at the right, we're at just the right height, because the next bit's the smoothed off bit. Let's try some of the other clocks in this spot. So this one just adds a lot of blue. This one, I think that's kind of perfect, because like it's see-through. It's still ostentatiously big, but it lets light through, which is important in such a small space. So over here, we're gonna need some pillars for structure to hold up the front part of the top, but I'm gonna see if I can make them as little as possible but still be structurally sound.
and that way it won't close the scene in too much, because I really want to be able to see through to those stairs. That should be the right height, I think. And then in front of there, we need just one torch. And this is where I was looking at my gold pieces, and there is a variation in colour. Some of them are like slightly darker gold, but that works really nicely because it gives a good variation in colour. So it just mixes it up a bit. And then we're going to stand it up on a plinth just so that it's a little bit further up, and that'll add some more texture to our castle as well, but without having to add too many pieces. So this goes on here. Very nice. And then on the other side, we have to obviously mirror that, mirror the pillar. However, I want to put something else in here and attach it on the front of the pillar. So we've got our forward facing stud here, and then at the top, we're going to make everything else the same. And let's see, I think we are not quite at the right height. We are one plate too short. So I just need to put one of them little 1x1 plates down the bottom, and that will lift everything up to the same height. Okay, so it was killing me that there was no greenery in here. We need a pumpkin, right? Because that is important to her story. So we're going to pop a pumpkin in front. It just looks so empty without a plant. I can't bear it. So obviously pumpkin is perfect. So we're going to pop it over here, and then trying to just fill this space out with green. I need like a big vine that I don't quite know how I'd attach it. This will do for now. It's such a small space, it's hard to work in. So we put our plinth for the other side there. Gosh, I love the word plinth. It's so good. Plinth. So satisfying. Oh my gosh, my day's complete. All right, so let's get this. We're going to just move the green a little bit up the pillar just because we can, and it just makes it look like that pumpkin just a tiny weeny bit less exposed on the front. Just ties it in. Okay, loving that so much. And I think that's all we have. Yeah, we don't have space for anything more here. We have got the key elements in. So we'll smooth over the top and put our little stud bits on there, just like we did on all the others. And now, how are we done? Now we've just got to pop Cinderella at the base of the stairs, running away, and maybe just put this here. Yeah, that looks better. She's not floating in the air. And there's just enough room to sneak Gus in here next time. I mean, she's going to trip over him, but what can you do? He has to be there. Okay, all right. I love this. I'm really enjoying these little Nook challenge builds so much. They bring me so much joy. They're really, really satisfying. We could pop her right next to Aurora because it's a castle, or we could pop her on top. It seems weird to have her at the very top of the tower because she's literally running out the front door, but I think I should possibly not overthink it because that looks cool too. Just having them stacked like that for now. But we've still got so many more to do. Oh my gosh. Oh, how many? I've said it before, I really should probably plan out how many of these I'm gonna have all up, but I'm just winging it at the moment. Let's build another Disney princess nook. They're looking so pretty. They're stacking so well. I haven't dropped any of them yet, so yay! All right, if you're brand new here, or if you just haven't seen this series, I'm building a nook for each Disney princess to display them in. It was actually inspired by this set because each of the little buildable princesses in this have their own little compartment. So I thought they were pretty bland. So I wanted to just like spiff them up and theme them for each of my favorite Disney princess mini dolls, and they have to all be the same size so that they can all fit together and be interchangeable. But apart from that, I can basically put whatever I want in these and then stack them and have this gorgeous display. All right, so today it is Jasmine's turn for a display nook, and I was rummaging through all this. Is why I need a display for my favorite Disney princesses, because I could not find all of my Jasmines, and there have been quite a few of them over the years. But I do have a favorite that I kind of can conglomerate from the pieces that I have. So I love this pair of pants with the extra filigree bits on them, even though I know that her outfit's is pretty simple in the movie. I just love this version. Love this top as well. And for her face print,
We've had the new Disney princess face print on her actually looks really nice. So it suits her well. We've got this one with a smile, so this is really pretty. And her hairpiece it's been the same since the first time that they released her as a mini doll. The designer's got this hairpiece right straight off the bat, which is so cool. Okay, so we have got Jasmine ready. She could be hanging out in here with some of her little pals. Well, I mean, Raja is a bit of a big pal, but it's the size juxtaposition which makes their relationship so very, very cute. And he's such a fabulously big derpy tiger. And we do have a smaller version here, which is slightly less entertaining because I like the really, really huge one, but I don't think I'm going to be able to fit the big one into the nook. I mean, he's like the size of the nook. But I do want to put Jasmine onto the flying carpet, because I want to have it hovering over the balcony as our scene. And this could be a logistical nightmare, but I don't care. I'm going to give it a try. My best shot. Might not be terribly secure, but hopefully it'll look good. So this carpet came in one of the sets, and it's really, really such an awesome design because she can sit on it, and actually this is how she's going to be displayed. So yeah, that's cool. I'm trying to figure out, I think it needs to go this way, so she's sitting on the little upward wave bit. That actually looks very cozy. If only I can just get her to stay on there. Okay, and we do need nice... Look at that. She's going to love it. We're going to put the tassels on the back, and then, you know what? I'll think about how to suspend this in a moment. Let's build the actual nook first, and then we'll get the carpet hovering on it. So we need a little plate here, which is 8 by 6, and then the roundy bit on the front. I'm going to hold them together with this gorgeous carpet piece over these 2 by 4 tiles, which I've used in other Jasmine builds too. It's just perfect. And at the back, I think we need some gauzy curtains. The idea of them peeking through the entry. So this design for this curtain actually came directly out of the Lego Friends the restaurant, the really cool new restaurant that we just got this year. I've just kind of changed the sizing of it a tiny bit and the colour scheme at the back. That's it. So 100% just nicked it out of there. So we're going to put this upright with some nice magenta bricks, and then we need to do another one so that we can have another one facing it, obviously, because you don't just have one curtain. I mean, you can have one curtain, but no, there's an awful lot of symmetry in Jasmine's world. So let's get these two over here, and they're going to be our upright supports at the back. And then in front of them, I'd love a little like an ornate display bit here. So maybe this could be a spot maybe it could be a spot where we put the lamp, but the lamp's really more Aladdin's story than Jasmine's story, so I don't know. We do have carpet in here as the companion, so anyway, I'll just leave the lamp there for now. And I would like some more structure for the entry to the balcony. Yeah, so this is going to be more visually important than structurally important. So we're going to put these bits up here and then put this little beautiful see-through-y flowery bit at the top, and then on the top a little bowl to create that Arabian Nights style architecture. And that's not going to quite reach the top, so I'll put a columny bit up to get right up to the top. I think that's the right height that we need everything to get to, so I'm going to get the curtains up to that same height as well. Nice. And then we just need another one of these on the other side. So much symmetry. Okay, up, and put these on. And I don't want to keep the lamp. I actually want a focal pot plant. And I could make like a potted palm, but I also want to use the new droopy pieces that Lego's given us recently. So we've got our really lush pot now, or vase, and in the vase, if we pop a couple of these droopy fronds, does that work for the theme? I think it does, and that just fills it out with a bit of greenery. I always think that every single build, no matter what we're building, it needs a plant in it somewhere. So we got this absolutely gorgeous plant now at the front. We could pop Jasmine on that little bit that I've just popped in. On either side we need a couple more uprighty things, so they're going to need to be structural, but I'll worry about them in a moment because we need the balcony, right? So because we're going to be sitting the carpet on top of the balcony is going to be quite low, and you think that the curved bit underneath, like that domed-y bit underneath,
would be underneath what we're actually building, and I don't know if I can do that. So I could put this, like this is what I kind of put together before to see whether it would work, and pop it underneath, but it's going to hang over the other builds, like the other nooks down low, so I'm gonna try it out afterwards. Anyway, right, so we are gonna put some more architecturally uprighty things, some columns, and then to make that shape, like that really distinctive shape, yeah, that shape. It also, I'm positive it has a name, but I don't know what it is. Okay, and we'll just get these up to the right height. And now we've got all of these gorgeous columns, and they're all different. Nice, and we can see those curtains still at the back. So on the top, I told you that bit wasn't structural. On the top, we need the smooth bits so that we can stack stuff, and some with little studs so that we can attach the stack stuff. And then we've got it. Now, I need to figure out how to suspend this over the balcony. So if I use these, like lots of see-through angledy pieces, so we've got the pinholdery bit, this bit with a little angledy stick, and then we know that we put another one of those little angledy stick bits into the angledy stick. Hopefully this is going to be strong enough to hold the carpet. This is a tenuous connection at best, but that's okay. I don't think I'm going to be stressing it too much. And if I pop them into this little tube, then I can also turn it. Nice! So it is just kind of floating above the balcony, and it's not going to hopefully intrude upon any of the other spaces, even though it is kind of sticking out. That's so cool! I'm really chuffed by that. I cannot fit Raja in there though. Even little Raja, I mean maybe, but it would get pretty... It'd get a bit cluttered, and the whole thing about her balcony is that it's not cluttered at all. It needs to look like a big, beautiful empty space full of shapes. So we can stack this now on top of Cinderella's. Oh, I actually don't know where I'm putting all these yet, but we'll find out when I've got them all done. And I could pop that on, right? So you get the idea, but it's now impinging upon the princess nook below it, which isn't a good look at all. Maybe if I put it on somebody like Moana's, who the top of her little nook isn't quite as important to her story. Nah, it's still a bit intrusive. I don't know that I'm gonna keep that on there. I think it's good without it. I would have liked to have had that shape, but no, we're just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it alone. I just enjoy it as it is because it is. I've even taken the plant out for this picture because I think it was just a bit too cluttered, but I might put the plant back in later. I've got options, plant options. All right, let's put together another Disney Princess display nook today. We have got 8 of them so far. They look so tidy at the moment, like a 2 rows of 4. We're going to ruin it by putting one new one on the top. But we've got so many to do. So the idea is each of these little nooks are all the same size, but we're customizing them to suit each of the individual Disney princesses. And then I display my favorite mini doll of that version of the Disney princess in the display nook, and I can find them rather than having them tumbled all over any which way, however, and I can't find them. So today we have got Snow White, the original Disney princess. And we actually only have 3 mini doll versions of Snow White. This one that I only have the head and the torso of was the original one from 2017, I think, and then we didn't get another one until for years and years and years and years, and there is one more. There we go. So we've got 3 different versions, 3 different faces, same hair. I wonder where the yellow skirt is of the original version. This is why I need somewhere safe to display these. Okay, so this is my current favorite Snow White with the big brown doe eyes, red lips, skin as white as snow, you know, black hair as ebony, blah, blah, blah. Let's put her... This is actually a little collar that came on the minifigure version of Snow White, which is nowhere nearly as good as the mini doll. I mean, it's just facts, right? But I don't know that the collar works for her. It needs to be, it's a little bit overwhelming. It needs to be a bit smaller. So, no, I think I went to all that trouble of putting it on. Now I'm going to take it off again. Lovely looks. There we go. She's just lovely as she is. Okay, so she's going to be hanging out here with her woodland friends. So we've got no dwarves though, seriously. We've got too many of them to try to fit in. So we've got a bluebird. We've also got a fawn and a squirrel. I think that'll be enough. That's so cute. I think we can fit them all into this little nook as well as a cottage. So let's go. So we have got our slightly dusty, but that's all right. I'll remove the dust as we go along. 8x6 plate, little roundy bit on the front. We're going to hold them together. I'm using like really, really spring colors of of green to go with this because it's just so vibrant, works really nicely for the Snow White color scheme, I think. So she can be displayed here on the front, standing right on the very front of this, which means we're going to be filling the back of this up with a facade of the cottage. And I know that the little house is supposed to be the Seven Dwarfs cottage, and it's really brown and quite boring, but I want to make it more fairy tale cute and pretty to go with Snow White. And I've actually taken this from Ash's cottage from a couple of years ago. Even though the colors aren't technically Snow White colors, they actually work really well together. Not surprising because that whole movie, the whole Wish movie, was based on the old Disney movies, right? So okay, so we have got a couple of purple shutters, so pretty, and then on the front we have got the stonework for like built out kind of stuff. This just works so beautifully. I just didn't change a thing. I've just kind of changed the shape and the size and the attachment so that it fits into what we want it to fit into. So these bits here are the green lumps growing up along the side, bushes maybe, along the side. And on the top, yellow thatchwork roof. And I just want a wee bit of this because it has to actually go underneath an arch. So it needs to fit in, but also not be overwhelming. And I'm trying to remember what I had planned here. I think these ones go on here because I didn't want too much bulk at the back, otherwise it won't tilt upwards. So I think that's what I want. And then I'll curve over the top and pop a couple of little cheese wedges in to fill up those spaces. And after I edit out the bit where everything flew across onto the floor, we pop this on top, and this should fit really nicely underneath the arch. How cute is that? Okay, so we're going to pop these as the uprights on either side, integrate that kind of in, those in so that you've got a bit of yellow behind the roof. And I just want to support the underneath because currently those bushes are floating in the air. So we're going to pop these underneath it, and there we go. Now they sit nice and snugly on the plate. And then in front, I want a mushroom. I want a fairy tale toadstool. So cute. And over here, I need a big gnarly kind of tree to hang an apple from, but also to be a little bit scary, but also really pretty. I wonder if I can get those two things happening. So let's give it a whirl. So to make it a wee bit like kind of scary looking, we're going to make it gnarled and tangled by having angles on it, and then pop some thorn root kind of branch things out. I mean, they can be all the things. They currently are all the things. And then we'll use these bits at the top to add our branches onto, and down the bottom, we're going to attach it onto the plate with some really, really cool stuff, which I'll show you in a minute because we're doing the leaves on the top now. I forgot what order I was doing stuff in. So I'm using a variety of different green colors on the top because I just want it to be I just wanted to have dimension, and having the darker ones underneath makes it really adds a bit of shadowing. And then I can pop the apple here, and I think I can just choose the angles as we go along. There's a whole heap of trial and error to kind of get the leaves and the branches to be hanging where I want them to be, and also not to be getting in the way when I put this next to our other nooks. And on the bottom, we're going to build out the base so it's not like just this spindly tree with all these little studs facing in different directions, so we can make lots of cool shapes, and that should pop that onto the plate nicely. Yeah, nice! Now we just need to pop all of these angledy bits, these little slopes, so that we can create a nice, substantially base trunk kind of thing, but it's not symmetrical. I just love this so much. That looks so cool. All right, so we have got a tree with the apple on it. I know she's not going to eat it, so it's fine. It's just up there for storytelling purposes. And then on this side, we need to create a more kind of the idea of tree, but this is actually going to be a structural support thing. So it can also be a place to put an animal. So I was thinking maybe a squirrel, but maybe let's just put it in place and see. Yeah, maybe instead of the squirrel, maybe the bluebird would be, and it'll give a really pretty little pop of color over here, and breaking up all that brown and removing the cat hair. They're everywhere. Okay, and up here, let's get some of the structure in that we need to have to make sure that this little nook all holds together. So another leaf, yeah, out the front, and then on this side, we are going to have, I don't love putting it upright on this side because it closes the whole scene in on the front, but we need structure. So, okay, we'll pop, actually we can make the whole, the branches, the tree leaves arch over but it's not symmetrical, which I really like. It just makes it that little bit wild. Okay, all right. So structure. Let's pop these wooden arches up all the way around and then hold them in place with nice smooth tile bits, some studs on the top to be able to hold on whatever we're going to stack on top. And I think we're pretty good. I want to put in the squirrel down here and maybe the fawn over. Oh, it won't go on in an angle because it won't hold on with one stud with its feet. So this is my compromise for this. That looks pretty cool. And then let's get Snow White in here on her display section. Okay, that apple is directly above her head. I think I like it. Kind of closes it in. I can move the apple, but I at the moment I like it. I'm going to leave it alone. I think this is just so charming and so colorful. Like it is like a storybook nook. I'm very excited. So we can pop her in here, or we can stack her on the top and just ruin all the symmetry. But I feel like maybe I'm going to need stacks of 5, like rows of 5. Don't know. I really don't know till I've got everything together. But maybe like this, like having it back down in the middle and having, yeah, maybe that'll look better. Anyway, we'll find out as we add more. But for now, we have got Snow White. She has got her most beautiful storybook nook. And I moved the apple because it was bugging me. I like it over here to the side. A little bit less symmetrical. But it's not, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to donk her on the head. My stacks of Disney Princess display nooks are looking so good. I've actually got them currently stacked like 5 across, which I think looks really good. But who knows how it's going to end up. Because we're going to be doing a heap of these. Maybe. I don't know. No, probably. All right, so we've got an empty one here on the end to signify we're starting a new one today. So today we're doing Mulan. We've got a few versions of Mulan over the years. And only a few versions of her outfit. We've actually never had her fighting outfit. We have on a micro doll, but never on a mini doll. And so we've got her signature Disney princess, like official dress look. But I like this one because this is what she wears when she comes back at the end, right? And everything's kind of safe and resolved, but it's just lovely colours on her. Now we've also got Mushu. I mean, lovely colours on her. Who cares? She went out and fought a war. But anyway, yeah, so it's the little things, right? So we got Mushu, we got Cricky. I'm just trying to decide who we can fit into this teeny tiny display nook. And I think Khan maybe will not be able to fit in there, but he's so magnificent. Love the black and the red. So dramatic. Oh yeah. So, I mean, because he's a warhorse. Okay, so I know this is silly, but because I'm designing, custom making these nooks, I want them to be somewhere like that is of serenity and peace for my Disney Princess mini dolls to hang out. It sounds slightly insane when I say it out loud, but I don't care. This is my design. I get to do what I want. And also my, what goes on in my head. It's fine. I'm fine. So I'm making her a tea house, a traditional tea house, but in miniature form. So at the back, I'm gonna see if I can create that. All of these, I don't know quite what to call them because I don't know enough about architectural practices and designs from different cultures. So I'm basically just borrowing stuff from imagery and hoping that it works, from stereotypical imagery, and hoping that it works out for her little nook. And I'm also making sure that they're colours that work for her too. So we've got this bit at the back to make the kind of filigree kind of bit to look through the circle. And then the raised up tea house, it's going to be all open. And I want to get that at just the right height. That's lovely. That's so pretty. And I'm picking muted colours as well so that it's, serene. I mean, it is a tea house. So, okay, so we've got wood lining the floor and a few jumper studs on places so we can attach stuff here. Obviously, we're going to have a ceremonial tea set on a table in the middle. So we've got these bits. This is not a terribly secure table, but I'm trying to make it as low to the ground as possible with as few pieces as possible and using the pieces that I currently have available in my collection. So popping these on here, and then on the top, the lovely sage green coloured teapot. This is the tea in the cup and then a whisk. I would love to be able to put more of the whole process on here, but the table's small. So we're just putting on what I can fit, basically. So popping this in here, that looks lovely. Okay, see, I'm feeling calm just building it. Okay, next up, we want to put like that kind of peaked pagoda-y roof. Is that the right word? Pagoda I think is right, but the peaking on the edges. So using this up here just to give that like imagery at the top, and then some cherry blossoms. I tried to make a whole like gnarled bonsai kind of cherry blossom tree to fit in here. It was just too busy. So I've decided to put the cherry blossoms up here on the roof, which I think it fits really nicely, and there's going to be light being able to come through from behind as well. So I think we're not too tall yet. Oh, there's a little jumper stud on the side, but don't know, maybe I can put Mushu on there. But we're going to use these red columns, which come in a lot of the Chinese New Year Lego sets. So I've got a few of them, which is cool. And we've got some gold foundational work there at the bottom of the column. And then I'm probably supposed to put some little uprighty clips to hold these in place better, to hold that little sticky out rod to the side, but we'll just see whether it holds fine without me having to put extra pieces in. Okay, that looks amazing. I'm really enjoying this. This looks really nice. So I think I want to put a fallen blossom here, some nice ancient stonework with mossy bits built up around the sides. Another blossom over here to the side on a claw, just angled up. That's not how you're supposed to use it. It won't stay like that very well, but that's okay. It looks nice. And then I think this looks kind of old enough, like worn in, which is exactly what I want it to look like. And then we're going to just replicate those pillars all the way around. So they're going to be the uprights for this pagoda, for the tea house. And then I reckon we can put a little stone lantern in on the side, on the front. So these are so pretty. I just love the imagery that comes with these stone lanterns, and you can make so many different shapes of them now with the cool pieces that we have in Lego. So this one's got a little fat bottom, which I just love so much. And then up the top, we will make our blossom tree go just a little bit further out, and then continue the red columns up, because we need to get to the same height as all the other nooks so that it fits in anywhere. I think that's now the right height, so we'll just do this all the way around. This little red plate here is going to hold those back columns in nicely, I think, so hopefully they won't need any more security. I haven't worried too much about structural integrity with these, so hopefully they do work out. And we've got a clip, like when I've done them all, we got a clip on the front because I want to put Cricky here in a little cage. So, I mean, it should be a wooden cage, right? So, or a wicker cage, but gold will work fine. Kind of looks like a lamp now. No, so we've got a cage up here for Cricky, and I think that I cannot fit anything else in there. I think this is enough. I would like to kind of put Mushu in, but I also don't want to, because I just don't want to overpack it, which is not something you'd normally hear me say. I love to clutter up my builds, but not in this case. I think there's enough in here. Plus, we want Mulan to be the focal point, right? That's the whole point. This is her chill out display. Okay, so she can hop here on the front, under the cherry blossoms. She can sit down, have tea ceremony, and she can also have, I don't think this is the right sword, but I also don't think, I mean, that just looks so menacing. I know it's such an integral part of her story, is the fighting part, but she can do that when she's hanging out with Khan and they can ride off into the sunset. But when she just wants to relax and unwind and introvert, then this is where she can be. Perfect. No sword required. Okay, hold your cotton socks, because I've done a second display nook for this week, one for Raya as well. Oh my gosh, I actually revisited the movie to be able to do this nook, and it needed to be a whole series. So we have so many characters, including just poor old Sisu's head here, because I've dismantled the rest of her. And we had Boone, which, oh my gosh, shouldn't he like be a mid-sized, like 100% we need a mid-sized mini doll, because he's he's little, but not so little that he could be a micro doll anyway. And we've also got the Ongies, which are hilarious, our monkey stack, which I could use as a supporting column for the display nook, but we do have a few different versions of Raya, including this one, which I'd forgotten we got with the style of face print that I don't like so much, so that one's going away, because the first print was so good. And we've also got this, which I'm going to use for the Sisu gem, because it looks like it's glowing and big. So for this, the whole movie kind of doesn't have one cohesive bit of imagery, so I'm putting a whole heap of stuff together, also ideas from the sets that were made at the time too. So lake work with me here. We've got lake and the waterfall which all the dragons come over at the end, like all the water, and then in front we're going to have the stone that the gem is busy kind of floating above at the beginning of the movie, the Sisu gem. So building this up too. So we need to put a little stud with a hole in it so I can pop those little angled, what do you call them see-through things, angled see-through things, so that I can suspend this in the air so it looks like it's suspended. But if we put a blue bit inside, it also looks extra glowy. I like that. And then if we put these on and then pop him in, we can angle it around until it kind of, it looks like it's floating, right? If you suspend your disbelief enough, that looks like it's floating. All right, so we have got the gem, and then behind I need something to support this waterfall, so we're just going to put a nice big rock. The whole movie was so beautiful and muted, like the tones are muted, so I'm trying to kind of emulate that in here too. Got some stonework cobbling to head up to where the gem is, and some more mossy bits down here, but different to the mossy bits that are in Mulan. So I got these little tufty, nice, cute bits, and these darker green ones too to fill up the spaces. And then I think I need to think about what we're going to use for the actual supports. So at the back, rock on one side with some mossy bits, and this, I wish I had this dangly green bit in a darker green because it would go so much better, but I'm just going to leave this one here as a placeholder till we get a darker one, and then I'll change it over. And on this side, maybe another like stone pillar, and then for the shaping at the front we're going to make like the heart palace colors, so the blue and the teal, and then we need to make like that kind of the archy shape stuff. So some more of these cool column pieces. And if we take that's so beautiful and tall, which means we can actually see that waterfall through when we look through from the front, which I just love. It's not obscured. And yeah, so blue on the outside, and that's the heart palace colors. And I need to put these on so that everything is integrated and supported nicely. It doesn't just crumble like that when I touch it. We're not finished yet, so, it can fall apart, and shouldn't fall apart when I've finished it though. All right, let's get this up to the right height. And then we're just going to leave that for a minute because you remember the ongies? I'm going to pop them in here as actual stonework decoration-y kind of things, but also going to use some lotus flowers for their heads. This is really just, it works really nicely, and I think that they would 100% not approve, but they look so cute as little statues, right? I love it. And the tall grumpy one actually had a hat, if you remember, so the fact that she has got the smallest flower for her head, it's actually for a reason, because I needed to pop her at the back here, and I didn't want her to be like, it just works really, it looks so cute. Look at her, she's just glaring at us from behind the waterfall, and these guys are going on either side, and they're not quite symmetrical, which I just love. And I think we've done really well, but we can still add a few more little pretty flowery bits and stoneworks down the bottom. And then for the top, just for added security and for a little bit of extra shaping, if I put some of these tassely, dangly, lanterny kind of things. These were actually featured in the Heart Palace, the Lego version, but I've changed this up just a wee bit. It's shorter, I've changed the colours a bit, and put that beautiful see-through yellow flowery bit at the top as a light. So, pop these up here. And I really should put something underneath them to secure them into place a bit better, but you can angle them in a bit, which I really love. And I'm just going to leave them alone. And then on the top, putting these on so that we don't just have the exposed studs on the top. And then we need to put the smooth bits on, and then some studs that we can attach more stackable little display nooks onto. How high is this gonna go? And I just love the colors on this. Oh, and Raya got her own like special mold of her sword, which was cool. And I think I only have 1 or 2 of these, so I might need to store it with her here on the display nook. Though it does, I don't like having that pointing at me. You know what? We never got her hairpiece without the hat, which is such a shame because that would be a really cool hairpiece to have with the 2 plaits going back at the top. Oh, that would be amazing. I would love that. All right, so we got 2 today. I'm very excited. Right, so I'm less excited now because look at what's about to happen here. We filled up that row, but now we've got this one just sitting here on the top, though the colors go very nicely above Jasmine's nook, right? Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so we actually have 3 more official princesses to add to this. There's 4 spots on that row. So we've got Merida, Tiana, and Rapunzel still to go. And then I reckon there are going to be some more unofficial Disney princesses that absolutely have to be on this display nook. I'm having so much fun doing these. I have 3 more official Disney princesses to put in there, and then we'll move on to some of the other Disney heroines. This is our skeleton, like the bones basically of each of these nooks. They all have to be this size so that they can be interchangeable and stackable. Today we are doing Tiana. Tiana is really tricky. And I have so many reasons for this. One is basically she spends the whole movie, right, except for a tiny bit of it, as a frog. And we have actually never had a legit Lego version, like frog version of Tiana. We do have these 2 very cute little frogs that we could use. The gown that Disney uses as her official outfit, see for maybe 2 seconds in the movie. And we do have like a whole... We have had quite a few Tianas over the years, but I still don't think Lego has nailed Tiana yet. Different hairpieces, still just not quite right. And we haven't seen Prince Naveen, so I don't have a favourite Lego mini doll version of Tiana yet. So there's still time though. And making a display nook for her is also tricky because, hear me out, I know that Tiana's palace is her dream, but also it's a place of work. Is that where you want to go to actually relax? But maybe it is. And I also want to incorporate the bayou into this because it was a big part of her story. So this dark blue is going to be like the water at night. And then the back bit's going to be her palace, which, like her restaurant, which is this, which is just absolutely stunning. I don't know how we're actually going to achieve this. I can't. Like, it's this gorgeous Art Deco 20s style, which I don't think I have the skill to be able to actually emulate in such tiny form. But we do have a little version of Tiana's palace in Lego, and from that we got this printed piece. So I'm going to use this, yeah, because it's like the sign for her restaurant. Also, why have we never seen this dress? Oh, we need so many more variations on Tiana, seriously. But, okay, so my point of this picture is this background here, which is on the back wall of the bandstand. So this beautiful stickered window piece, which actually came in one of the Wicked sets, works. I think this will work for that, like for the backdrop for her for her restaurant. So let's just see. So we'll pop that back there. So it's supposed to be seen from a distance because all the way back there where the bandstand's going to be. Getting the green walls up. So using her signature colors, even though they don't really work in with all of that, like the lush Art Deco coloring that we should be using. But I don't know that I'm going to be able to make this cohesive, but I'll give it a shot. I don't know. We'll just put everything on, hope it works. So we're going to put our sign up here, and then I want to put some curly Q kind of things around the sign to just make it more fancy and kind of fit in with the theme. I'm trying to make them, like the sign and the curls, butt right up against each other, but I don't know that I know what pieces should do that properly. So this one's not. Let's try that one, and that one's now sitting down a little bit lower. So, I mean, it fits there, but now it doesn't go right up to it. I don't know if I can actually make the sign go right up to the little curls, but that's fine. Can I move it up further? No, it'll do. It'll do for now until I can think of a solution later. So a few little beautiful golden lights around the place. And of course we need a table and some chairs, or maybe just a table and a chair to depict the restaurant. So in here we've got her signature baguette, and we've also got a cocktail glass, which is perfect.
Look how beautiful that is. And then we're going to need a matching chair. So the chairs in the restaurant are these like nice big airy wire ones. I love the back for this. And I do want, oh, I can't use that sticker because that one's starting to peel off. Dang. I need some more light pink stickers because I really did want, I want a little bit of pink to match the tree in the background. Anyway, this will do for now. I can change any of these things later on. That's the joy of Lego. And I want, there are so many lush hanging pot plants in her restaurant, but I don't really have room for them. So I'm going to put a lush potted plant just in the back here. Nice. Okay. And that gives me that little splash of pink as well too to match up in with that tree. Where can I fit this? I feel like I want to put it on the other side, but it's going to be too cluttered on the other side because I'm going to put the table here and we can put this chair in here. The chair takes up so much room. We're just going to angle it by putting a single little grassy stud underneath, and that way we can put it between the studs, I reckon there maybe, or on the stud there. Nice! Okay. All right, so we're heading out towards the front. So we're going to have the swampy kind of look at the front with darker foliage, few little, I've taken as many lotuses as I can to pop in this space. So I'm building a little lily pad here and then more little green, dark green bits just to add to the texture and color on the front. And then I'm using these little purple lotus flowers. The Lego Friends set that I just built has pink sunflowers, which are flat like down the bottom, and they'll make some gorgeous lotuses as well. Trying to decide which frog is going to look better in here. They're both not quite right. Like the new Friends one is so derpy and cute, but it needs a different face printed on it, I think, to be the right sort of froggy for a Princess and the Frog style frog. That was a lot of frogs in that sentence. Okay, so on the front, so we're going darker as we go further forward and putting more foliage in as we move out into the bayou kind of area. So putting these matching on either side, and then some lamps, because this is still part of her restaurant. Are you staying with me here? I mean, there's a lot of leaping that you have to do with your imagination to be able to put this all together, but it'll work. So we've tied the back uprights and the front uprights together with that yellow plate, and then another lamp on the other side. And then we'll get our yellow supporting plate on. And then on the top, if we put gold railings like the balcony for her restaurant up here, I feel like it might look a bit top heavy busy, but they are going to take us, well, because they're see-through, it shouldn't be too bad. So they look airy at least. So these are like the balconies of her restaurant, and the gold makes it nice and art deco. And then some more foliagey stuff towards the front as well. And also this can kind of emulate all those beautiful lush hanging plants that she has in her restaurant too. Is this working? I think it's working. And I'm trying not to make it entirely symmetrical. It's a little bit different with the plants on either side. And then on the top, nice smooth bits and some jumper studs so that we can attach anything above it that we want to. And now heading back into the front, into our little watery area. So another water lily, putting this one on an angle just so that so we've got some different height into the colors and the textures. And then on the lily pad is another water lily, and I mean it's this bright because there's a firefly in it. This is where Raya is. He's hiding in that little lit up flower in the front. And we got Prince Naveen as a frog off to the side. I'm happy with this. Tiana's nook was a hard one to design for me in my mind to decide what was actually going to go in here. So let's pop her over with the rest of the display nooks. At the moment, I've actually got them 6 in a row. And before I decided maybe 5 in a row would be cool, but 6 in a row looks good too. I suppose it just depends how many of these I'm going to ultimately end up with stacked up. How high are they going to go? Do we want them? I don't know, but this is what we have got so far. She can snug in here next to Cinderella and Pocahontas. I think she looks amazing there. Let's build another Disney princess nook today. Oh, they are looking so amazing all stacked up together. I still haven't decided what configuration these are going to be stacked in, who's going to be stacked next to whom, how I'm going to connect them by the sides, ultimately how many
nooks we're going to end up with. So, you know what? We're just doing this one at a time, flying by the seat of our pants. And last week I asked you guys whether we should do Rapunzel or Merida next, and you guys resoundingly said Rapunzel. So that's why we're doing Merida. Because I want to leave Rapunzel till last. Okay, so Merida, you'll forgive me because Rapunzel will be next week. Merida's only been in 2 sets in Lego form. So crazy. So this one was from 2014 from Highland Games, and then she was with her 3 little brothers, which we've never actually seen ever again like this mold. So this is really cute that we actually have her 3. They're just carbon copies of each other, but very, very cute. So I might try and fit them into this nook. And this was the other occurrence of her, which was in 2022 with an enormous ball gown, which is absolutely not Merida at all. Like, how is she supposed to move in that thing? And that was in a combined set with a couple of other princesses, and she didn't even have a skirt that's going to be functional for this. So, I mean, ball gown for Merida? I don't think so. So I'm going to kind of put these 2 mini dolls together. So this is going to be my Merida. She does need to have a bow and arrow because it is very, very much part of her personality. So I will make sure that she has that. But I was trying to decide what was going to be in her nook. Actually, it was quite tricky because all of the imagery that surrounds Merida, like surrounds Brave, is really quite dark and misty, which is beautiful, but I don't know, like there's no key elements. And her mum, who's such an important part of the story, and we've never seen her as a bear either, like in the Lego sets. So we have her depicted here in this sticker, which is like a tapestry kind of thing, which works nicely with the story. So I'll try and fit this into the nook as well. And of course we need the will-o'-wisps, because they are just beautiful and they're gonna fit in really well for what I've got. My idea to build here. So, and they're like a little flamey smoke thing. So let's do this. Let's start with a green base, like a reasonably bright green, because there's going to be a lot of dark colors here. So we're going to brighten up the bottom. So we've got our plate at the back, which is 8x6, and a little curved one at the front. And then to hold them together, some of these kind of sagey sand green pieces to mix up the green. At the back, I want a facade of the castle. So, and this is just going to be lots of grey, but I'm going to break it up with, alternating brick pieces and different textures and darker colours, like moss growing on it as well. So, and little bits of stonework, like breaking away. I suppose at the time when it was made, then it was brand new. It'd be crumbling away now. Anyway, okay, so we've got our keep going up here. I always think of it as a keep, but it's the castle. Castle Dunbroch. That was great. I did a good job there. That's dirty. That is such a grubby little... We'll pop it on that side and hope nobody can see. Okay, so we've got a really big arch in the front. Very narrow as well, but that's okay. It's just for show. No one has to actually go sideways to fit through here. And these pennants, these flaggy kind of things, came in the second set, so they're going to go very, very nicely on here. And we need some torches for either side of the front door to really fit that kind of rural, rustic, medieval theme. Okay, and then I just want the idea of moss and lichen growing everywhere, but also little pops of orangey yellow as well, because that kind of goes with her hair color scheme. Okay, and this bit here is just going to sit in front, more kind of bit colored stone cobble bits. I don't know. The point of them there is that they actually look okay, but it's also to pop the Bear Brothers on in here, and they can just be peeking out from all of the little crevices. Now, okay, that's for the back. For the front, I want the standing stones with the will-o'-the-wisps kind of circling around them, and darkish and gloomy. I don't know. So standing stones can be the supports for the front. So this might close the whole thing in too much, and I'm trying to get lots of different shapes for the standing stones, but because these pieces are so smooth, I'm trying to create the texture with the bricks, and I just don't know, it's such a small scale whether it's easy to, like, whether I'm going to actually be able to achieve it. But a few little licheny droopy bits just adds interest to it, I think. And then we're at the right height to be able to connect the back to the front, and then we can have a bit of stonework here, right? Like brickwork, like it's growing up around, like rubble crumbling. I have no idea what I'm even saying here. Right, so another different standing stone for the other side.
and lots of little places to be able to actually stick the will-o'-the-wisps out as well. And let's get them on and see how this goes. So we can, oh, actually I might put another little bit of lichen over here to just kind of tie the colors in. So oh, yeah, okay. Little faceted blue opalescent pieces are perfect for the will-o'-the-wisps because it's kind of the idea of the light and glowing. So we're going to angle them as, like, make it as interesting as possible so that they're not just sticking flat onto the stones. Some of them are going to be angled out. Maybe I can put another one up high up here too, and that can be angled as well. And then we need to get this nook obviously to the same height as all the other nooks so that they all tie in. So I hope this is looking like ethereal enough to be able to be that. Yeah, okay, I think so. I can't fit that piece in at all. I'm really sad. Okay, but you can't fit everything in because it's a very, very small nook. But what I do want to do is have on the front, see how we're in the poster, she's standing on like a big lichen covered moss drippy log. We're going to have a kind of a tussocky kind of grass mound to depict the same idea as this. Oh my gosh, does this even work? Who knows, but we'll just see whether I can fit it into the space. So we're going to make it mounded up a bit with these cool little bear claw bits in green, and then I want to put like some more mushrooms and fungi and maybe some more flowers in as well. So we could pop a mushroom in over here, more little pops of orange. And speaking of pops of orange, the new flower crown piece that came recently in the Lego Friends sets, this would make a really pretty little, like just a little burst of, yeah, organic color down here in our grass mound. That looks so cute. I want it in so many different colors. I might actually have to color one myself, like paint it up to be a really pretty flower crown. Anyway, so we've got the bottom done. Up the top, we need to get this all to the right height. So I think that works nicely. Putting our smooth bits on the top, and then some jumper studs so we can attach another little nook on the top if we want to. And then I just want to stick this will-o'-the-wisp out on an angle. I think that looks pretty cool, but make it a little bit closer to the, I don't even know why I needed to fuss with this. Sometimes I just keep touching it until I shouldn't be. I should just leave it alone, but I think, no, that was worth it. That was worth the effort. That's good. I like it. Okay, so we've got our little whirling circle of will-o'-the-wisps, and she's got her forest, spooky forest kind of bit, but not too spooky in the front. And here's another little will-o'-the-wisp flame bit to pop in the front. Okay, I like this. I wish it had more color variation now I'm looking at it. It's a lot of grey, like the dark grey is not as different to the light grey at the back as I would hope. I really like my design. I'm just not convinced by the colors. I might have to mess about with it a bit later, but yeah, I like it. I do. All right, so next week is definitely Rapunzel, and then I have to figure out how to connect all of these nooks together. And then we can start on all of the unofficial Disney princesses, all those Disney heroines that we have beautiful mini dolls for that also need a gorgeous nook to display them in. Who knows how big this is going to end up? I'm a little bit afraid that it's never going to end, but that's the joy of it, maybe. All right. We are here. Today is the day when we build the last of the Disney Princess display nooks for the 13 official Disney Princess lineup. So you can see that these are all of them here. There are some noticeable absences amongst the official lineup, and we are going to build display nooks for them, but I wanted to do the official ones first. Now you can see that there are already 13 display nooks here. That's because I did 2 different ones for Belle, but if you have been patiently following along, you know that today it is Rapunzel's turn. Okay, here we go. I left her deliberately till last. I'm doing that in inverted commas because there are going to be more, but these are the official ones, right? So there are a whole heap of different mini doll versions of Rapunzel. We've had a really good representation of her over the years. She's got lots of outfit choices, variations on her official costume, but also some really cool creative ones too. Her face prints, though, never have really quite cut it for me. So I'm going to kind of put together one. This is going to be my favorite currently, but maybe the new one that's coming out in Rapunzel's Castle in just a couple of weeks. Maybe that'll be my new version because they do have a slightly varied face print. So I'm using this face print, which comes from the Lego Friends line. I think this is Mathilde's face, and with the hair,
I still feel like we need proper Rapunzel hair. I don't know how you would ever do it in Lego, but anyway, this is my fave at this stage. So we have got Pascal as well. I reckon we can find some space for him in this nook, and I'm going to break all the rules today. I'm going to actually fill this space up with a tower and then have her nook sitting on top of that tower, and we'll just see how this goes, okay? Rule breaking 101, we're doing it all today. Okay, so this is going to be the base for the tower, and we're going to put it into like a little bit of a rocky crag down the bottom. And I'm actually just finding all these pieces, fantastic pieces with stickers on them for like, these are all Rapunzel towers from the past. And I'm basically going to be putting together a mashed up version of all the towers that we've had before and making it hopefully look cohesive, and obviously putting my own stuff in as well too. So let's start. This is going to be the green for the bottom. We're going to have some nice flowers down here as well. It's going to be really pretty. This is actually smaller in depth than the base of all the other nooks, and my reason for that is because I don't want it to hang too far out here, because it'll like cast all the shadow to the nook below. So because it's going to be extra tall, I don't know, we'll see whether this works out. So I'm putting these on here now with the stickers of the vines going up as far out there so we can see them, and then building this up so that that's all to the same height, a little bit of purple around, and we need to put some more support at the back as well. So if we put these nice tall bricky things up here on either side, here's some little purple bits to hold everything together. Good, okay. And then on the front, down the bottom, let's just fill this out now before we head too far up. So some more rock work down low and some flowers. So many pretty flowers. We're going to need climbing vines. We're going to need bushes of flowers. We need flowers everywhere. But we also need a mushroom because it means fairy tale. And I just love having mushrooms and all these things. It works so beautifully. It's so cute down here. All right, let's head up to here. Now, I'm wondering if I need to build this up any higher. Yeah, I'll look at it in a moment, because I actually want to put in the middle this little, I don't know what the right word is like for castles, but you know, it's an offset window. And this was definitely from one of the previous Rapunzel towers. And it just adds some really nice dimension to it as well, like building out a little bit. And we're going to be obviously adding some more vines on the front. Those were the forward facing studs are for. We'll do that in a minute, but we're gonna make sure that I get everything to the right height, because the tower itself is gonna have to be 2 nooks high. That's a measurement now, a form of measurement. So let's see. No, we're wrong. So we need to take this up another brick, I think, to be able to get it to the right height. And then, yeah, that should be right now. And then I'm going to put on the little outwardy bits, like the support for the tower. Man, I really need to learn some tower building architectural terms. Okay, so we have got those bits on the front, which we'll just leave alone for now. These are at the back just for structure. And then we need to kind of round it out with these, and on the side I'm going to use a lower profile one because it has to squeeze into the space of the between the other nooks. All right, so if I pop this on, this should hopefully be, because I've planned this out, this should hopefully, yes, look at that, it's exactly 2 nooks high. Now we just need to put the smooth bits on the top with some jumper studs so we can then attach the nook to the top of the tower. Nice. Okay, all right. So the nook's going to be detachable. I don't know why I need it to be detachable, but I like it. Okay, I really like it. Let's add a whole heap of climbing vines with flowers. So even though Rapunzel could use her hair to get out, or a ladder or whatever, she can also use all of these trellis of flowers that I'm putting in. So this one goes all the way down on the ground nicely, and then this nice little spray of flowers, like a bunch building out. I just love putting all of these in. It adds so much texture to what would otherwise be very, very flat and smooth. So we'll put some more coming up here. I've got two little branchy bits there attached together, and then angle it around here so it's curving around to get all the way up to where the top of the tower is going to be, aka her new nook. And then this bit here can attach on 2 points there, and then we can hold it on with this, and then they're all extra secure. I'm not going to be knocking these off every which way, which is very And this gorgeous spray of yellow flowers too in the middle. And you know what else it needs? It needs a happy butterfly. So let's pop a light yellow butterfly in here. Get on there. All right, there we go. All right, aggressive butterfly application. All right, so we have got our tower with all of the beautiful blooming vines going all the way up. And this then will sit on top of Snow White's nook. And then let's just check that. I mean, so this is what it's going to look like in between. And then her nook is going to sit and fan out a little bit on top of the rest. So look at how little she is up the top, but let's get her nook started. So this is also not the same size as the previous nooks because this is going to be designed to always be sitting at the top. Okay. A little bit maniacal. Let's get this door frame in, and the view from this is obviously from the front. So it's the opposite to the other nooks, whereas you're looking like they're opening up and you're looking in, whereas this one is more closed in and Rapunzel's going to be looking out. So yeah, okay. So we've got our balcony on, we've got my favorite little printed pieces to create the windows and the curves around the side, and then we need some flower pots. In the actual movie, the flower pots are round, but I couldn't find a round one that would really fit in this space, and I want to actually have these droopy leaves, like vining kind of down to attach to the other foliage that we've put down the tower so that so it's going to be going all the way down and all the way up onto the roof. And the other side, a nice big spray of flowers too. And then I think we can just start working up here now. So we'll get these bits on to attach stuff to. Fantastic invention. And then on the inside, we're going to make the actual size of it a little bit bigger and putting our wood flooring down everywhere. So it's going to hold everything together nicely. Nice and substantial. Look at that. Okay, right. So now back to the front, should we put the roofing on first? Because the roof line is pretty important. So if we head up, we'll pop Rapunzel in, here. And I mean, the ratio is really good. It's because I basically have taken all these designs from previous towers and just put them together. So we've got the purple roofing up here. And then underneath the roof, I want to add some more vines, some more flowers going up. But on the other side, we need a little lantern. So I'll pop this onto here and then put a little pointy top on it so that we know it's kind of medieval-ish. Pop it over here on this hook. And then on the other hook on the other side, I'm going to call it a hook. It's like a little bar. And we can put a hook onto it, a claw onto it. And then we can put this cool little angled bit on and we can float some more climbing vines and flowers on it up into the peaked roof. Now, speaking of the peaked roof line, this is my favorite. I think this was from the original Rapunzel tower. I don't know that we've seen this one again, but I just love how kind of jaunty it is. It's not smooth. So let's work on the inside though for a moment, because this space up here in the tower, I don't know that I need to put much stuff on the inside, but I want to put in the fireplace because it'll be perfect. This is just the perfect size for it. So we're going to put in the fireplace with her big mural on it. I really, really wanted to put in the floating lights, which is such an important part of her story, but they're on this painting here. And when we get the new Rapunzel's castle, which have got those lights on them, I might suspend them off the top of this tower when I've got them, which would be so cool. This is like this is a work in progress. It's going to be ever changing. Okay, on the roof line, getting those really cool, they're really higgledy-piggledy, all the little turrets and the points and the bits on the top. I don't know what they're called. The pointy bits that I always knock over when I try and take the Lego off of my shelf. We'll get them all the way up to up to a really, really pointy tip. And then over here on this bit, Pascal can hang out. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to get our nice big spray of climbing vines with flowers and buds and anything I could possibly fit into this, I put on it. I had so much fun with some of those new foliage pieces. They just make everything so pretty and interesting to look at. So this is her nook, right? The tower top. And I mean, it's designed to be looked at from the outside, but we're going to put some stuff on the inside anyway. Now, we need obviously an easel. We've got this picture of Maximus, but in the new one, which I keep talking about, this is fantastic, lovely picture of Pascal in a dress. So I'm absolutely going to be changing it over to that when I get it. But we'll build the easel and put in, so we can put whatever picture we want on there. We've got our paintbrush. We've got the paint tray for her. So we'll put this nice rug, like kind of patchworky, it's not patchworky because it's cobblestone, right, on the inside of her tower, but a rug down on the bottom, and then on the other side we'll have a chair because obviously she needs somewhere to sit, and this is the chair from the original build, and I just still really like it. I like the shape of it. The colors work really nicely. I've just changed out a couple of things on it, which is basically just smoothing over the top of the arms, and I'm going to change out the seat cushion too to one that I think would fit quite nicely. Okay, so we'll pop it over here, and we're going to need to stick it on just with one little stud there, so smoothing down underneath, pop it on there. Look at that! Now she's got a little bit of furniture and she's got her frying pan, which is incredibly important. I really wanted to fit the cupboard that she shoves Flynn into and he keeps falling out of, but there just wasn't room, and curved surfaces are really hard to fit something flat against. So I gave up and just decided on a few little pieces of furniture. But we are looking at this from the outside. We're popping it on top of the tower, and I just love this. I love this build even just in isolation. It's like a fully fleshed out tower. I'm so excited. Okay, and then, oh my gosh, look at it. It's so pretty. The only thing it's missing is her hair cascading down, but that's all right. So let's put this on top of Snow White's little nook, and then we can nestle everything else in beside it. And I still haven't figured out how I'm going to put all these together, but I think, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to build a base for it so that they're nice and secure, because this is going to end up much bigger, because even though we are now at 13 princesses, I'm going to have to build out on the top two, so what's going to eventually be the top, but because we're going to continue going up probably, I can actually just take this tower and bring it up and add more nooks underneath it, but always make sure that the tower is at the top. And then I'll decide how to finish it up when we get to the very end. We're not there yet. We're so far from there. But at the moment, it actually looks like one nice big cohesive build, even though it's been lots and lots of little ones. So many little nooks, each of them telling an individual princess story. And then on the top, breaking all the rules, is Rapunzel, which I think is like entirely appropriate. So we have reached the end of the official Disney princess lineup. Obviously, we have got Elsa to do. We've got Anna. We've got, you name them in the comments. We've got so many Disney heroines who we have got gorgeous mini dolls for, and that's the whole point of this, is for me to have a place to display and easily find my favorite Disney mini dolls. So we're going to be adding to it. I am going to take a little bit of break from this custom build before we head back into it, because I've got some other things I want to be working on, and I will share them with you very soon. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave me a comment, give the video a thumbs up, do all the things. You know what they all are by now, but make sure, most importantly, that you come back, because there are always more things to build, and I try to build them all. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.